important discussion. So yes, this is Stance Consulting Limited. We do training, consulting, and research. And our special or areas of focus are leadership management and strategy. You can find us online there. Also, interestingly, we have this personal effectiveness school that we call the Life Inspired Academy. So when we run our corporate programs, we often run into people who are hungry to grow, okay, and they're looking for that opportunity to attend some personal growth or personal development courses. And this was why we established Life Inspired Academy. Okay, Life Inspired Academy has been there, I think, since 2007. Yes, all the way from Lagos. So you're welcome again, everyone. My name is Atinuke Oyewumi, if I haven't told you, and I'm the Chief Learning Officer at Stance Consulting. Okay, I also double as the MD, but I like to just stick to Chief Learning Officer. So here's my brief profile. Just at a glance, you can see what I do. And my biggest topic that I like to take is leadership. So this is why we're here today, of course, and this is why I'm leading this conversation. But I'm not alone today. I'm working with Bridget Brunn. Bridget is from Germany. She lives and works in Germany. And even though she works globally, okay, and you can see this is her brief profile also. All right, but I'll tell you why Bridget and I are working together on this. I know that we attended programs together at Sciences Po, and she reached out to me to talk about how she has a passion for holistic education. And incidentally, we also encourage holistic education, most especially holistic executive education. What content do leaders get exposed to? Okay, do those content really, help them to align their hearts? As a matter of fact, you can train the mind and have a lot of knowledge. In short, knowledge is not, we're not in short of knowledge. Artificial intelligence will give you lots and lots of knowledge in just a few seconds. But we're looking for leaders whose hearts are connected to the work that they do. Okay, and this is why this is so important. And I'll just read this out about Bridget so you would understand what I am talking about better. So for Bridget, the purpose of education is to cultivate holistic growth. It feeds the self-awareness, compassion, and critical thinking that nurtures individuals to navigate life with integrity and wisdom. And this will help them contribute positively to the well-being and harmony of each and all the species in the world. So this isn't just about people, it's about the heart, it's about everything, okay? And this is why I am working with Bridget on this, because of these values that we share together, okay? So I'm trying to set the climate, and the objectives that we have for this training today, there are two main objectives actually. The first is to improve our cognitive ability to influence power dynamics. We're looking at how we can enhance our ability to lead effectively, leading upward, across, and downward. So I am going to take a few minutes to lay a foundation to help us deepen our understanding of this topic. And then I am going to talk about the crucial need for power intelligence. When I'm done doing that, Bridget will take us through some exercises that would help us absorb the learning, okay? And then I'll come back to still just wrap up and talk about some strategies that we can use. So what am I encouraging us to do? I'm encouraging you to stay focused. I know the attention span is short these days, and there are so many things that can distract you, but let me encourage that you stay focused and stay till the end, because you're not going to regret the time that you're putting into this today. All right, so once again, you're welcome. And yes, I'm going to go into the discussion just now. So let me ask, are you ready? If you're ready, let me see a thumbs up. Are you ready? Does this sound like something you really, really want to be a part of? Are you ready? I'm looking for the thumbs. Yes, I can see the thumbs. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being ready. So, power intelligence. And as we said, we're trying to improve our cognitive ability to influence power dynamics. Okay. So I remember being at a government agency sometime, and what I had gone there to do was to discuss our leadership programs. So I was in this meeting with the people from the learning development department, and the man said, the leader of the team, who's a key decision maker, said to me, you know, we're mostly engineers here. I hope you have brought us trainings on engineering. And I was a bit confused. Oh, does it mean that the only thing you learn as engineers are, you know, is engineering? And, you know, that incident led me into the challenges that we have surrounding leadership. So when I'm an accountant and all I'm learning is about accounting, or I'm a medical doctor and I'm not exposed adequately to leadership programs, do you think that I'm going to run into challenges? Okay, I could come into the organization as an individual contributor, and at that low level, people can overlook my behavioral dysfunctions if I have. But then it gets to a point where I begin to supervise, or I begin to manage, or even lead at very higher levels. Medicine is not leadership. Accounting is not leadership. Engineering is not leadership. Leadership in itself is something different that people need to learn to be able to do it well. Expose ourselves to this content, this kind of discussions, it is almost impossible to get leadership. All right. So in talking about this, we often say that leadership is more about disposition than it is about your position. Okay. And there is that thing that we call working in your job versus working on your job. When you're working in your job, you're going to work daily. You may not even see how you come across. You may not see how people experience you. You may not know how people experience you. Okay? But when you're able to have what we call the balcony view, it's easier for you to step back and say, yes, I know I'm here. I'm trying to solve so many problems, but how am I? How am I getting across? Or how are these people experiencing me? You know, and this is what would determine, as I said before, how people get along with you, whether they listen to you or not, whether they comply or whether they are committed, you know, because there's that difference between people just complying, and there's that difference that you get, you know, in performance when people are committed to the work. So how is this connected to your executive presence? Recently, I was taking a session on executive presence, and I know that the people wouldn't probably have responded to be a part of the program if they knew that we were going to talk about emotional intelligence. It's so funny that sometimes as leaders, we think we already have all it takes to lead. Or sometimes you may say, oh, what's there to learn again? Okay. But everything ties back to emotional intelligence, because I already talked about this. Your disposition is what matters. Sometimes you have the authority, sometimes you have the position, yet the people don't follow. This is when it gets really frustrating. And in talking about power, you see that the more powerless you feel in a leadership position or a high role position, the more likely it is that you're going to resort to throwing your weight around. You try to think about it. If someone has the position, but they don't have that disposition that makes it easier for them to influence the people who will get the work done, they tend to resort to using force. Sometimes we say they coerce people, okay? But it is often easier when you understand that there are the kinds of powers that you can call upon. And sometimes even without authority, you can get people to follow, okay? And this would mean that you have a very good executive presence. Now, what is executive presence? We say this is about your ability to inspire confidence, okay? Inspiring confidence in the people who are following you. So they say, oh, I'm not just following this person because my paycheck is tied to following them. I'm following because I believe in, what they have to offer, all right? It's also about inspiring confidence among your peers. The people who you work on the same level, who really don't have to listen to you. Do they cooperate with you when you want to get them to work with you? These are some of the things that you need to start to pay attention to, okay? If you're talking to a subordinate, yes, they may cooperate with you because they have to. But the people who really don't have to listen to you when you have something to say or you have ideas to share, okay, do they listen to you? All right? Also, the people who put you in that position, sometimes maybe they saw you as an individual contributor and you were doing so well, okay? Now in the leadership position, are there some psychological effects that come with the power you now have that have changed your behavior? Okay, are they still confident? Are they still saying, wow, we made the best decision? Okay, so as I said before, this is a very broad discussion, but because we have just a few minutes, about an hour in this session, I'm going to limit the discussion to certain essentials. Okay, all right. So thank you. I can see that we have some feedback in the chat box. So as I said, what does your executive presence has to do? It has to do with your ability to inspire confidence for people to want to be with you or want to work with you. And when you break executive presence down, this is what you have. They say it is 67% gravitas, 28% communication, and 5% appearance. So just looking at this, I'm already thinking of how sometimes some leaders misunderstand where their powers come from so much that they do not even know how to attribute, their behaviors or their efforts in the right direction. So some people who believe they're charismatic, for example, and they believe that, oh, this is why people follow me. I dress well when I show up. They may focus a lot on appearance, okay? And yes, well, you may walk in and everybody greets you, but it gets to a point where you cannot lead further because people need more for them to be led beyond the charisma that you bring to the table, okay? Sometimes also some people think, oh, it's about communication. And then you know that for a leader, in short, it's even more about listening than it is about talking. Okay, I remember a leader who was promoted and they said, oh, God, we are glad that you finally got the position. Now, leadership is a lot about listening. He said, yes, I know. My people have to listen to everything I have to say. Okay, so for that person, he just got it all wrong, because the leader has to do more of the listening than the talking. So let's see, what's gravitas really? Okay, and when you Google this, you find this. It says dignity, seriousness, or solemnity of manner. This is where this position comes in. Manner. behavior, okay? So I think it's important that at this point we define power. I'm still going to come back to all of those points that I made. Yes, thank you, Doris. She said character. Thank you. So let's define what power is so we can connect the dots and see where we want to get. The dictionary definition of power says the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way, okay? And then it also says the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. What this shows is that you can get things done, okay? And just keep that focus on ability, capacity. A lot of times when we want people to lead us, we are looking for the people who are capable. I mean, think of what's going on in our country today. Every time something happens, people look at leadership, say, are they capable? Are we even in safe hands? Those are the questions that we ask. So you're looking for ability and you're looking for capacity. But let's not forget that how you expend this ability, how you expend this capacity matters sometimes more than the capacity that you have, okay? And this is why power is that topic that we can call the big elephant in the room, and it's that subject that people do not like to talk about.
20 minutes.
Okay? People do not like to talk about it. I remember that I was having a session on power intelligence. And while trying to get the people to get into the flow, one woman said, why are we talking about power? Only God is powerful. I don't have any power, okay? And I don't even want to be powerful. So, but then, this isn't about a contest, okay? This is for you to realize that how you come across, how you treat others, the power distance between you and others will affect how they experience you. And for that person who said that, when you look closely, you see that the fact that she doesn't know that she has powers will make her misuse the powers that she has. She can have a maid in the house who she doesn't even give a chance to express herself, right? But she doesn't see that, oh, because this person is so far away from me in power, they may not even be able to express themselves. So it's my responsibility to elicit responses from them, or sometimes, try to get them to talk. And this is the same thing that happens just in the workplace. Sometimes the authority bias happens in the workplace where the leader makes a suggestion, just a suggestion. He hasn't said this is what we should do, but everybody aligns and complies because they don't want to go against what that person has said. That's power at play, okay? And as I said, it's a very big topic. Another thing, it is sensitive. At the end of the day, we all would find the places where we misuse power. And I'm saying this confidently because except you're really conscious of how you use power, you either notice that you're overusing or underusing, okay? And I am going to talk about that also just shortly. And as I said, it is often avoided. What does this lead to? High cost of power problems. Let me ask you, in your own organization, around you, have you noticed that power costs us? Are there problems that you think power has cost? If yes, please type in the chat box. Let me see. Okay. In organizations, the misuse or abuse of power, do you think it costs us? If yes, just type into the chat box and let me see. I also want to know what you think about this discussion. Okay, I think I have a response. Yes, someone said yes. So just keep thinking about it. When you have something, let me know. I really want us to be on the same page. It costs us so much, okay? Yet we don't talk about it. So, how many of us have used FedEx before? Have you used FedEx? Do you use FedEx? If yes, okay, can just, let me see. Yes, we all use FedEx, or so many people use FedEx. One of the things that many people who use FedEx have not noticed, if you can see my cursor, is this arrow in between the Fed Air and the X. If you're seeing this arrow now, have you seen it before? And it's an important part of this logo, okay, which says we move, okay. But many people have not seen that arrow before. It's sitting there. The moment you notice it now, it then means that you would often usually, be able to notice it. And why am I saying this? Power distance, power struggles, power issues, power problems are those things that are present with us in every relationship that we have. And whether we're aware of it or not, it is there. Okay? So the first and most important thing is awareness. And then, of course, it's not just enough to be aware. We also must build competence, which is why we are talking about this. Have you ever been in a meeting and you wanted to make a suggestion and somebody cut into your statement and said something and nobody revisited what you were trying to say? Somebody used power there. Okay, whatever power they brought to the table. Or how many times have you tried to do something and you just couldn't? You remember we said power is ability. So the more you can get things done, the more you can have your way, okay, the more we would say you have power. Okay, so are there types of power? Yes, I just said. French and Raven's power bases. This is a very, it's theory, okay, and they try to classify the different types of power that are available. What I'll usually do in coaching is to let people look at all these types of powers and ask themselves, do I have this power? Do you have authority right now? Are you leading? Are there people who are following you? Okay? Or do you have reward power? Are there some things in your possession that people are looking to get, such that they may want to be your friend just to get that thing? Okay? Or do you have referent power, which is, are there people you're connected to that because of those connections or those affiliations, others respect you or look at you in a different light? Or do you have knowledge? Do you have experience base such that sometimes if you haven't put in your opinion, people don't believe that, they've got enough? And let me ask you, if you have that kind of power, what does it do to you? How does it make you feel? Okay? Or do you have informational power? Sometimes some people, no matter how low they are on the rank in the office, once they have certain kinds of information, they become so powerful, okay? And they can even use that information against the people who are leading them, right? But this is just to let you see broadly the types of power that are there. But then again, we try to classify these powers into personal power, role power, or status power. I really don't have a lot of time to go into this, but I know you can research, when we're done, to also know these types of power. But while we're talking about the basis, this is the main discussion for today. If you do not understand where your power is coming from in a given situation, it will be difficult for you to use it. Sometimes you have missed opportunities because you didn't show your power. Sometimes you have missed, being on some project because you didn't project yourself enough. Okay? And then as I'm saying this, I'm sure you're also seeing now that there's a tricky balance between how you project your power, okay, and how you may not be using your power. So see this, when I ask people, would you rather be powerful or powerless? Let me ask you, would you rather be powerful or powerless? What will your answer be? Looking at this image here. Is anybody answering? Would you rather be powerful or powerless? Let me see anybody who Is there anybody in the room really who would want to be powerless? This is when it begins to make sense. As much as people argue, oh, it's only God that has power, I don't want to have power. When you ask them, do you want to get things done? Do you want to have results? Even sometimes as a parent, do you want to talk and have your family listen to you? Do you want to have a say when you're in the boardroom? So let's see. Powerful, powerless, empowered. Okay. These are some concepts in power intelligence. To be powerful simply means that you know how to use power effectively. That's what it means to be powerful. So it's okay to be powerful. Okay? To be powerless means that you have powers, but you're not comfortable using them. And I dare say that when you have a leader who's not comfortable with power, it brings a lot of problem to the organization. If you put someone in a power position, okay, and they're not comfortable with that power, you need to coach them on how to get comfortable. Otherwise, they cannot be effective in that position. And let's talk about empowerment. When employees within an organization are empowered, they are committed. Okay, when they have the information, when they have the resources, when they have the acknowledgement or the approval of the people who are leading them, they bring a different kind of performance to work, as opposed to when you just put them there and they're not empowered at all. So I'm trying here to let you see that power can be overused, power can be underused, and power can be maximized. This is what power intelligence is about. Maximization of power. Okay, I know that I say this all the time. I used to be very broke, okay? And I couldn't just get my finances together. I couldn't get my career together, all right? And there were things I knew, but some of the challenges I had was I didn't know how to show up in a way that people would listen to me. I could go out all day looking for opportunities, but how did I go? Did I look confident? Did I speak confidently? I had that challenge or those challenges. And until I realized the impact they had on even my bank account, things did not change. Okay? You just try to imagine it, that you're trying to get something that you should be courageous about, but you're not courageous at all. I want you to see yourself, see how you use power. Where they talk about power over, that some people use power over others, okay? And some people will say that's abuse, power abuse. Some people will say they use power with other people. That's another body of work, and I don't want to go into that, but I want this discussion to be able to make you aware of your usage of power. At that time that I didn't have enough money, I had power, but I didn't know how to use it. Expert power, okay? But when I found my voice, things changed. So, power struggles, these are real, all right? And whether you're powerful or powerless will decide or determine, rather, how you're able to lead upwards or lead across or lead downwards. When you have a powerful leader, remember we said a powerful person is a person who knows the effective use of power. When you have a leader sitting up there who feels secure, they're not intimidated by the people who are below them. It is easier to lead up if you're in the middle. When you have suggestions, you can take them up. But if you have a leader who doesn't know how to use power, maybe the person overuses power, your knowledge can be a problem for them. Because in their own minds, they want to be the only person who is sounding intelligent. And it's going to create a struggle because the people on the team now have a problem. Yes, we have potential, but nobody even needs what we have. Okay? So you can also always juxtapose to say, if I'm leading from the middle and I am powerless, how does that come across? Even my colleagues will not listen to me. People that we are on the same level, okay, may not even cooperate with me. How about if you're powerless and you're trying to lead downwards? The people will see that you're not courageous enough to step into your role. You have power, positional power, but then you cannot use it. Will they take you for granted? Will you have performance issues? Absolutely. So this is trying to show you that the more powerful everybody is, the better it is for the organization. And the people on the lower rank, do you think they should be powerful as well? What's your opinion about that? Do you think they should be powerful, or only the people at the top should be powerful? They also need to know where their powers are coming from. Because sometimes when you hold meetings, you have very bright minds sitting around the table, but sometimes they don't get to speak up. So they need to have enough emotional intelligence to know how to bring their ideas across, okay? So that these ideas are accepted and debated. Yes, you must know where your powers are, but that does not give you the how am I going to put it now? It doesn't give you the room to just come into the room and talk up to the people there anyhow. This is where emotional intelligence comes in. Everybody around this circle needs emotional intelligence. If the guy at the top or the woman at the top has a command of emotional intelligence, they're approachable, okay? They don't intimidate other people because they're secure. And if the person below has a good command of emotional intelligence, they can intelligently bring up their suggestions in a way that others will listen to them. I would love to dwell more on this, but I cannot because of time. So I think I'll just move. I'll take questions if there are questions when we are done. This is the most important part of this discussion today. The dangers of relying on only one or two power sources. And this is what causes power struggles. If the person at the top relies only on their position and they don't have enough knowledge about the work, it is almost inevitable. Let me use inevitable. It's almost inevitable that they will get intimidated when the experts come around. Have you ever worked with a boss or a leader who, once they see that they don't have power, any power to control a situation, they put a wall and nobody can get across to them? I see this happen a lot in organizations. Yeah. What's happening there is that that person has the power, maybe just one source of power. Maybe their position is the only power they have. They don't have relational power. The moment that position is not giving them the authority they need, it becomes a huge problem, okay, in the organization. When they see the experts, they don't want to listen. They also want to prove something. This is a long discussion, but let me not go into it. But then you see this, the situation and not the individual's preferences determines which power is most effective. The situation and not your preference is what will determine which power is most effective. So when you have just one source or just two sources of power, it becomes a problem. Let me share with you another interesting thing I have seen in the workplace. Some people are very knowledgeable, very intelligent. Technically, they're very competent, but they will tell you that they don't need relationships. When you encourage them to connect upwards, connect across, connect below, they tell you, I'm good at what I do. I don't need to suck up to anyone. But it's not about sucking up to people. It's about understanding that relational power is very useful. And as a matter of fact, the higher up you go, the more you're going to need relational power. So when such people depend only on what they know, it gets to a point, they don't even get a chance to get into the room, regardless of what they know. Okay? And that also means that they keep struggling. So let's talk about susceptibilities. Remember, I said you can overuse power, you can underuse power, okay, and you can use power effectively. The overuse of power, I think, I don't know what research says, but I think this is what we see, or this is what is quite evident. We see leaders are abusing power, or they're abusing their office, and all of that. But do you know that just about anyone who's given power is susceptible to power traps? I mean, they promote you today. You wake up tomorrow, you look in the mirror, and something tells you in your mind that, wow, now things have changed. Now I need to be courageous. Now I need to put some people in their place. Maybe not in a bad way, but you're just thinking, I have to do it differently. And you're right, you need to do it differently. The only challenge is in doing it differently, you really, really have to be careful. Okay? And these are the power traps that I'll talk about. Disinhibition. Often this is the first thing that happens. You just notice that power has changed even the people around you. They promote you and they don't promote others. Suddenly there is a gap between you and those people. And the oxygen that leaders breathe is information. So try to think about it. You're going up higher, and the higher you're going, the more people are withdrawing from you. The people would usually come into your office and drag the chair and sit down. Now stop at the door. Or they walk in, they don't sit until you say, please sit. Disinhibition. Okay? All of these things, when people do them around you, it may begin to give you a sense of, I'm really someone around here. Okay? And if this is not managed carefully, as I said, it becomes a trap. Have you ever seen leaders do dumb things? I know I read in the news some weeks back of how somebody moved money from their organizational account into their private business directly. And you're asking yourself, what was that person thinking? And I'm trying to tell you that's what power can do. It gives you an illusory sense of control. You think you can control outcomes. You think, oh, I've got this. And sometimes you're not even thinking again. You're just doing because you have the privileges. This is a trap that also has to be managed. The third one is diminished empathy. The higher up you go, the more likely it is that you begin to see the people on the lower ranks as subjects. Because when you cough, they catch a cold. Okay? Am I saying this would happen if we give power to you? Not inevitably, but there are tendencies, okay? They're attractive. I mean, just try to think about it. All of the privileges that come with power positions, just about anyone can, fall prey. But also, we encourage leaders to remember that it's not getting to the top that's the hardest. It is how to stay relevant there. It is how to stay there and manage your executive presence in a way that people still have the confidence in you as their leader, or they want you to stay longer. They're begging. I've talked so much today. Have you gained something? Please let me know what you think. Have you gained anything? Have I said something that you have seen in your environment? I want to hear from you. It's because this is virtual. I usually don't like to do this one way. I always want it to be a dialogue. Okay? But because we are managing time as well, please let me see something from you. Have you gained something? If yes, do let me know. All right. I'm always interested in feedback. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback. All right. So, Bridget, are you ready for us? Are you in the house? Remember, I said that Bridget has some exercises. I come from the theoretical part, right? And Bridget always is about this practical, part of it. She always wants you to do something that would let you soak in what we have talked about. What I've tried to tell you today is that power is a very huge topic. And as a matter of fact, one that we have to stop avoiding. We need to bring it to the surface and let's talk about it. Our use of power. Okay. So, Bridget, do you want to come on now?
Yes, sure. I am happy to come. Okay, so let me give you two seconds of background, right? My father was working for the United Nations. He was Dutch. My mother was Iraqi Christian. I'm born in the US, grown up around the world because he was working for the United Nations. And one day we were in a hotel and I was looking from the window all the way up. And I said to my father, "Hey, Daddy, look, this man down there," we were in Nepal or somewhere, "he's washing with a bucket, you know." And he looked down and he said, "Yes, one day you're up here and tomorrow you're down there. But wherever you are, you'll be happy, okay?" And that was a really very good lesson, right? There's a man who was traveling around the world and who had this open-mindedness. So what I want to ask you now is, can we all agree that we are all the same? Right? I can't see the screens because I've messed up with my screens here. I will just assume yes because I can't see you. Let me see chats. Yes. Okay. Can we agree that we are all the same? Can we agree that we are all, when we cut ourselves, red comes out? When we cry, the same tears cry, and when we laugh, the same laughter cry. It comes out, right? Independently of colors and countries and cultures, independently of if we are an employee or if we are the general manager of a company. Now, the question is this one. Let me just try and move. Yep. Now, can you see this chat here in the middle down there? It's so annoying. Anyway, so what I want to say is this power thing which we have, the question is not do we want to abuse of it, or do we know if people abuse of it or not? We all abuse of it at some point. The question is, can we do something good out of it? And my purpose here right now today is that I will leave you with 2 little exercises that you will hopefully be able to use at any point in time in your life, just to remind, hey, I am in control and I can do things on my own, right? Regardless of what happens around me, and for the best of the people around me. Let us agree also that when we are under control by emotions, we are therefore naturally not in control of our thinking, right? We can say things, we've all been in that situation. Oh my God, why did I say that? Why did I do this, right? This is when our emotions take control of ourselves. And I've seen this at all levels, right? So let us look into ourselves first, because we can decide whether, let's say, how best to act in any given situation. And I think that puts us back into our seats. So this is my proposal. Can we just for a second or a couple of seconds just put our shoulders back? Let me just try. I'd like to see my video on. So let me see if I can put my escape. Let me just do like this. And I want to see Zoom. Where is this Zoom? Zoom. I cannot see. Okay, yes, here, video. So there we are. Okay, let me see if I can put some more light here. So there we go, some more light. Okay, so we all put our shoulders straight in the back, our chin a little bit low, our upper part of the neck upwards, right? And we all breathe from the lower part of our stomach, right? Let's do it 3 times. In the same time, wait, before we start. At the same time, I would like you to think of this. What is happening in my thoughts at this very moment? Do I have thoughts coming in thinking, what does this woman want from me? Like, why am I doing this breathing exercise? So let us do this 3 times, right? So shoulders back, neck straight. Breathe in. And breathe out nice and slowly and empty your lungs. Again. Breathe out. And now breathe out again. Let me ask this question. I need a couple of answers here. What could you feel, or what were your thoughts when you were doing this? And if you had no thoughts, just write no thoughts in the text box. No thoughts. Great. Excellent. Any others? Relaxed, but no thoughts. Excellent. Good. Now, if we try to do this exercise without the breathing part, what will happen is our mind just starts going all over the place, thinking, oh, we're short on time, and what does she want? And then what does she, the mind has this capacity to become, only feeling good is making people smile around me. And if I can make other people feel good, then they can also make me feel good, and it will work well. So let me see what this quiet person has to say, right? And then we can trigger a whole new momentum because we are in that position that is a comfortable position, regardless of we are just an employee, if I may say, or if we are the king all the way on the top. So I'd like to do one tiny micro exercise. I know we have like 3 minutes overtime, but please, let's try to do this one. We have all at some point in time being given a task to say, given a task that is impossible, right? Has anybody been given an impossible task? Please get this done within a time that is impossible, or a budget that is impossible, or a team that is impossible, right? So depending on where you are, but chances are we've had this. How do you make the impossible possible? Okay, and this is an exercise that is very easy to do. When somebody asks you for something very difficult or impossible because of the budget or the time or the people, what you just have to say, yes, perfectly well. And rather than but, and let us assume a couple of things. Let us assume that we have the people, let us assume that we have the budget, and let us assume that we have the time. I can make this happen under these specific conditions. And suddenly, the person who is giving you this impossible task has to bear the responsibility of your assumptions, because your assumptions, you can put them in writing and say, fine, I can deliver. So the exercise is this one. Every time you feel like answering but, just answer and. Do you see the difference? So Brigitte, can you end this on time? Yes, I can end this on time, supposing you all want to. And it will be a pleasure to do so. So that's what I wanted to say. And when we can obtain this situation here where we are calm enough and where we can remind ourselves of what it feels like to be ourselves, then we are in a position to actually make decisions freely, and then, of course, then to reap the benefits. So these are the two only examples of exercises I wanted to show you. And with ends, we can make the world a better place. It is so much easier to say but, and so much easier to destruct. Constructing requires a very positive attitude and a very conscious attitude of what our surrounding is like. And with this, I would like to thank you and see what your feedback is.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you, thank you. Your impact is always felt in, a very great way. I can talk all day, but when you come in and do the 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it often always makes a very big difference. Thank you.
Well,
and
I just hope that you can, I mean, I just want a micro feedback. Does any one of these two exercises, could anyone tell me if any one of these two exercises will be useful today, tomorrow, and in the coming 3 years? Okay, well then, all I wish is that we all become consciously good people. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you. I'm sure that people use those exercises. I would personally use them. Okay. And yes, remember that I talked about susceptibilities, and link this to what Bridget just shared with us. We have this tendency to say, oh, I don't have the power to do this. I wish I could. I wish I could be more patient. I wish I could, not allow my emotions to fly through the roof. But just as Bridget taught us, we have more control sometimes than we attribute to ourselves. We have more power than we attribute to ourselves. And this is why I felt we needed to be a part of those exercises, so that no matter what's going on, we can always calm ourselves down. I remember there was this managing director of one of the Nigerian banks, I think in Liberia or so, sometime around 2020, I think, it was a manager of the bank. He was talking to a teller in the bank, and he got angry, really angry. He picked up a desk calculator and threw it. So that calculator caught this guy on the lip, and he started to bleed. Before you knew it, the video, people captured, and the video went so viral that the Central Bank of Liberia saw it. And immediately they had to call Nigeria to say, please, with immediate effect, suspend that person. That person cannot be a managing director. Okay, so whatever got him upset, whatever challenge it was, remember I said before, are you diagnosing the challenge, and are you diagnosing yourself to see how you're coming across and what you're doing, in all of that situation? So it is so important that we have all of these exercises that we can use, when things are really challenging. And I'm going to wrap up because our time is almost fast spent. Of course, we've spent more than we budgeted or allocated. So the person with self-restraint is the most powerful person, all right? Of two people, something that happened here was someone, like a very muscular person, was walking beside the pool. And there was this small boy that was just trying to play a prank, and he pushed this man into the pool intentionally. And people were so scared that, wow, what is this person going to do to this boy, So as he came out of the pool, he just did what they were not expecting. He didn't flare up, he wasn't angry, just walked up to the boy to say, why did you do that? Okay. And, that just shows you the fact that the power distance is there does not mean you have to just unleash that, power or anger or whatever it is on that person that you would almost call a subject, someone who's so lower on the rank to you. The fact that you have the power doesn't mean you have to abuse it. If you can restrain yourself when you're angry, when you're upset, you're even more powerful, all right? So because of time, I would just like to say that power intelligence, as we said, is your ability to understand that power is a currency, and for you to understand the need to expand your basis of power. I said this, most especially if you want to really succeed in the workplace or succeed as a leader. Do not just rely on your position. When you have position, use relational power. That's real influence, okay? When you have relational power, also build capacity, build competence in your work so that people can respect you and listen to you. And then, of course, you can remember all of the types of power that I said. I would like to connect this to what Bridget said. We can do so much good with all of the power that we have. Intentional, conscious use of power for good. Okay, if you have the knowledge, use it for good. If you have relationships, connections, we all can make the world a better place. And I'll say, power does not corrupt inevitably. It's not a must that when you have power, it must corrupt you. No. If you learn how to use it, it definitely, will not corrupt you. I hope you've had a good time today. And I'm going to share this.
Can I add one thing on this? Power does not corrupt necessarily. Power does not corrupt at all if we are connected body, mind, and soul. The heart has never, ever been a negative, angry element in our body. We might believe that we want revenge, but that comes from the head alone. So power corrupts, yes, when we lose our integrity, and our integrity is when we are connected body, mind, and soul. When the mind alone functions and decides and orders, then yes, it is already corrupt, even if in fact you have not done any technical corruption. That's what I want to say.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful piece. Again, trying to let us see that it is not a problem to be powerful. As a matter of fact, you should be powerful. You should know how to use your power. So what am I talking about? We have our programs that I would love you to key into. If you work in an organization, you can bring us in, or you can come to us if you want. We call this In the Corridors of Power. Understanding power dynamics. What powers are people bringing? Which one are you taking there? How will you get things done without abusing or underusing, power? And then, of course, we have our Lead Equipped program. Remember at the beginning, I said one of the biggest challenges is that many leaders don't learn. Many leaders don't learn. But we believe that personal growth is crucial for leaders. I am going to just see how I can send these files via this chat so that you get them. And when we get power right, we can avoid blind spots. Okay, the same energy and the courage and the fearlessness that we use as leaders to get results, if we are not careful, we can also use them, for other things. And that's why we talk about the paradox. I love this Robin Sharma quote from his book, Everyday Hero. He said, gross inflation of the human ego, okay, is the occupational hazard of the world-class leader, whether they operate in business, sports, the arts, and sciences, or politics. We shouldn't just look at politicians and how they abuse power or think that other people alone. The moment you have an inflation of your ego, you can do and undo, anywhere that you find yourself. So it's important that we attend trainings that can help us shape up so that we can lead effectively. And also, I love this quote that says, if you can work on deformities that you see in your own conduct, then you're a bold surgeon, right? If you can work on your own deformities, meaning, as we have discussed today, have you seen areas where you might have overused power or you're already overusing power? Can you correct that? Do not just listen and go, but challenge yourself to do something about it. All right, and we say leadership lessons can't be caught through conventional training, but through exposure to concepts and thoughtful reflection. That's what we try to do today here, hoping that you got something. Did you get something? If yes, please just let me know. We have to shut down. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take questions, but am I going to promise that we'll do this again? Absolutely. Please, if you want us to do this again, just type up into the chat box so that we can hear from you. All right. And as I said, we have the power of choice. How you lead is totally within your control. You may choose to make a difference or not. What will you do with your own power? Okay. And that's my encouragement. So you can take a second to read this. This is from the person who certified me as a leadership power intelligence coach, Julie Diamond, wonderful, wonderful woman. She has worked on power intelligence for over 20 years. Okay, and what I want to do now is to share the programs that I talked about as I read your feedback. Okay, just read that and reflect on it. Reflect on that. Let me know what you think about it as I share this document. So what I'm sharing is our Lead Equipped program. You see it now. So if you work within an organization, please do reach out to us. And I'm also sharing a coaching program on power intelligence. Okay, I think I can do more of the sharing on our WhatsApp group. Are you on our WhatsApp group yet? If you are, please watch out as I would share all of this. So thank you so much, everyone. If you're not on our WhatsApp group, please reach out to me. And yes, you would be able to come on to the group. This is the number that you can reach out to me on. So let me say thank you so much for your time and attention. You've been a wonderful audience. We had so many technical issues, but overall we overcame. All right, so thank you, everyone. We'll say bye for now. And I'll send the resources on the chat, as I said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bridget, thank you so much once again. We are grateful indeed for those exercises. Thank you, everyone.